on the debrief. Polls show a deadlock in the presidential race with just 11 days left in their hard-fought campaigns. Both candidates turn to the Lone Star State, and many homeowners are tapping into their home equity as home values skyrocket, oftentimes just to stay afloat. What you need to know. Plus, Yankees versus Dodgers, Broadway versus Hollywood, Ohtani versus Judge. It is a blockbuster of a World Series. Game 1 is tonight, and we have a preview. I'm Lauren Magarino in Atlanta. You're watching the debrief. After countless political ads and campaign rallies, hands shaken and babies kissed, the presidential election is a dead heat with just 11 days to go. The final New York Times Siena College poll before the election has Kamala Harris and Donald Trump tied nationally among likely voters at 48%. Harris led this same poll earlier this month by 3 points. Another number that could weigh down the VP, only 28% say the country is on the right track. Both candidates are in the Lone Star State right now. Even though Texas is not a battleground state, both candidates are looking to make an impact during their visits. Vice President Kamala Harris will rally with Senate candidate and Congressman Colin Allred tonight, with Beyonce and Willie Nelson set to attend. Former President Donald Trump addressed reporters earlier today in Austin with Texas Senator Ted Cruz. He's expected to tape a podcast interview with Joe Rogan while there. Correspondent Tony Waterman has the latest as polls show a tight Senate race.
During his speech here in Austin, Donald Trump really tried to link Vice President Harris to the immigration crisis, which of course is one of her biggest political vulnerabilities. He said that she was responsible for these very high migrant crossing numbers that we have seen, that she was responsible for gang activity in the United States and for some of these violent crimes that have allegedly been carried out by people in the country illegally. And standing on stage with him was the mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary, who was raped and murdered in Houston last June. 2 Venezuelan migrants allegedly in the country illegally have been arrested in connection with her murder, and Jocelyn's mother has blamed the Biden-Harris administration for her daughter's death. The other reason why Trump is actually here in Austin is that he is recording an interview with Joe Rogan, who hosts one of the most popular podcasts in the United States. 52 million subscribers, many of them young, right-leaning males, which is this growing and targeted demographic of the Trump campaign. And he really wants to hone in on these voters because they tend to be low propensity voters. But the issues that he is talking about, including immigration, are ones that seem to resonate with this group of individuals. While he was also here in Austin, Donald Trump repeated these comments that he made at a Las Vegas rally on Thursday night, saying that the United States is the garbage can of the world, that the world is dumping people that they don't want in their own countries here in the United States. These are comments that Kamala Harris has really zeroed in on. She gave a press briefing ahead of her rally in Houston later this evening and said that the American public deserves a president that's not constantly belittling the American people. She is going to be giving this rally in Houston later tonight at the Shell Energy Stadium. It holds 22,000 people, and it seems as if all of those seats are going to be filled because Beyonce is going to be there performing, throwing her weight and endorsement behind the vice president. Kamala Harris is expected to really focus on abortion during this rally in Houston. She is trying to paint a picture of what the United States could look like if Trump is reelected, and using Texas as the example. Texas has some of the strictest abortion bans in place in the entire country. There are no exceptions for rape or incest, only to save the life of a mother, but the criteria around that is so ill-defined that there have been numerous cases of women being turned away from emergency rooms, from hospitals, from their doctor's offices, because doctors are too scared to perform an abortion. They face up to life in prison if they are convicted of carrying out an illegal abortion. And that has seen the number of abortions taking place in the state absolutely plummet from about 4,400 abortions down to an average of 7 every month. This is a winning issue for her, the abortion issue. So this is less of a message for women here in Texas. This is a solidly red state. There's not really a chance that Harris is going to win here. This is about messaging to the rest of the United States that if Trump is reelected, there could be 50 Texases when it comes to access to abortion care. She's also here stumping for Colin Allred, who is a Democratic congressman in a very tight race to unseat Republican Senator Ted Cruz. This would be really important if she is to carry out her agenda, particularly when it comes to reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. Tony Waterman, Scripps News, Austin.
Thank you very much, Tony. And the Texas Birds. Kamala Harris's running mate, Governor Tim Walz, spending his day in the critical battleground state of Pennsylvania. Earlier, he stopped into Booker's Restaurant and Bar, a black-owned business in Philly. Asked to size up the chances of beating Trump, the former high school football coach fell back on a football metaphor.
I know we're in the fourth quarter, and we are going to win this. And I say we're going to win it because I believe in the American people. I believe that their vision is more optimistic. I believe it's more unified. I believe it is more hopeful about what we can do together. And the division they're trying to sow.
Trump's running mate in the battleground state of North Carolina, Senator J.D. Vance, was in Rayford about 45 minutes outside of Fayetteville, and he predicted victory and did not hold back when asked about Walz, who campaigned in North Carolina yesterday.
And he's got to run around pretending that Kamala Harris is the candidate of change, even though she's been the vice president of the United States for 3.5 years. He's got to pretend that somehow Kamala Harris is going to solve the very problems that she created while in government over the last 3.5 years. And I think in 11 days, the state of North Carolina, we're going to send a message to Kamala Harris. You are not the candidate of change. In fact, you're fired.
Both campaigns raised millions of dollars in the first half of October. The Trump campaign raised $16 million, and the Harris team a whopping $97 million. When you combine the campaigns and the main super PACs that are affiliated with them, they've spent $500 million in the last 16 days, most of that on advertising. President Biden today giving what he called a long overdue apology. Speaking at the Gila River Indian community, he issued a formal presidential apology for the U.S. government policy that forcibly removed Native American children from their families. White House correspondent Serena Marshall has details.
I think it's long overdue.
For generations, it amounted to government-mandated kidnapping, forcibly removing children from their families, their culture, and their homes, with the goal of integrating Native children into white society.
My father was placed in a boarding school, as young as 5 years old. I know my grandparents were placed in boarding school as young as 2 and 3 years old. They weren't able to have any type of identification, whether it's regalia, whether it was an eagle feather, whether it was the language.
Today, President Biden apologizing to Native Americans like Lynette Gray Bull, a member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, for the atrocities carried out with the support of the federal government.
Generations of Native children stolen, taken away to places they didn't know, with people they never met, who spoke a language they had never heard. Native communities silenced. Their children's laughter and play were gone. Children would arrive at schools, their clothes taken off, their hair that they were told was sacred was chopped off, their names literally erased, replaced by a number or an English name. After 150 years, the United States government eventually stopped the program. But the federal government has never formally apologized for what happened until today. I formally apologize.
Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, what has been described by the Department of the Interior as a, quote, horrific era in our country's history. It's a story Interior Secretary Deb Haaland knows all too well.
I almost can't put it into words what it will mean to me. My grandparents were taken away to boarding school, so I understand and have experienced how that terrible era affected my own family.
417 schools across 37 states or then territories. The report also confirmed nearly 1,000 children died while attending the schools.
For so many years, it seemed like Indian country was invisible. Folks looked at us as if we were living in the past, right? And now they recognize that, yes, we have whole, full communities who stayed intact, who persevered through all of the terrible assimilation policies of this country.
President Biden also outlining his administration's investment in tribal nations, including $32 billion from the American Rescue Plan. It's the largest direct investment into tribal nations ever made. Serena Marshall, Scripps News, Atlanta, Georgia.
When we come back, more people are taking out home equity loans, but is that a good idea? We've got some answers for you after this break.